Hey guys, Doc coming at you with a short video for Saturday, but something I wanted to talk about. Let's see if you're on the same side of this as I am or if you're on the opposite side. John Romita Sr. was legendary for The Amazing Spider-Man and for Spider-Man in general. He took the quirkiness that Steve Ditko had and took it away and melded it more into a teenage drama. Okay, Spidey bulked up, he looked more heroic. He still did a few of those strange poses, but not any that were anatomically impossible, like Steve Ditko and later Todd McFarlane would do. Now, what I'm upset about is the fact that I saw on Bleeding Cool today that they are actually removing the John Romita Jr. cover for Amazing Spider-Man 1000. And that upsets me because Romita Jr. is just as much of a Spider-Man legend in his own right as his father. Now, the cover did look a little strange. I think even though he did it before, I think he still would have been better to have done it from a looking up perspective with Spidey just shooting one arm out. He did that on issue 600, but that's 400 issues ago, okay? A lot of people aren't going to remember that. And it was still, whereas this shot was going to be point on, the one that he did for issue 600 was a little bit to the side, okay? So the dimensions were different, and the lens on that scene was different than what he could have done with issue 1000. But he's already done the work. Paulo Riviera had come along behind him and painted it. So you have two really amazing artists, no pun intended. One of them who has a legendary father who helped build the mythology, and then Romita Jr. himself helped create the Hobgoblin, the Prowler, helped create a certain look, a 90s aesthetic, just like his father created a 60s aesthetic actually created an 80s and a 90s and a 2000s, not so much a 2010s, but back for, the 2020s. And yes, I get that Romita is not a young man anymore, and I get that he might have misstepped on the perspective for this particular cover. But you know what? I was going to buy it anyway, because to me, the Romita legacy on Amazing Spider-Man in particular is very, very close to my heart. Romita Sr. and Todd McFarlane often battle it out in my mind as the greatest Spider-Man artists of all time, with Mark Bagley coming there to try to trip Todd up every so often. I was really upset to see that John Sr. did not make it to do a cover for issue 900 or to do a cover for issue 1000. I would have loved one of Spider-Man's original creators to have made it to see this monumental issue that's coming out in September. And unfortunately, John Sr. passed away in 2023, leaving John Jr. as, and I believe he's the only Romita. John Jr.'s got some kids, grown-up children, but they didn't decide to follow their father's footsteps and their grandfather's footsteps into the industry. So what do you guys think about Marvel completely pulling the cover, the John Romita Jr. and Paulo Riviera cover, the cover A to Amazing Spider-Man 1000, and now there is no JRJR cover for Amazing Spider-Man 1000, which is a milestone that even Romita Jr. won't live long enough to see issue 2000. He might be around for 1500 if we still do 2 and 3 issues a month that Amazing has been doing for quite some time. But if not, this is the last legacy issue that a Romita could do a cover for the foreseeable future for Amazing Spider-Man. And to me, that breaks my heart that I don't even have the opportunity, the chance to buy a cover A Romita Jr. cover for Amazing Spider-Man 1000, which in my opinion is the biggest legacy that Marvel has had up till this date. Again, I get that John is not the man he was 30 years ago, but hell, none of us are. Okay, 30 years ago, I was 15. I can't do the same things now that I could do at 15. And then there's a lot of things that I've learned in life that I can do better than I could have done at 15. But let's not go and punish Romita because he chose the wrong perspective for what's possibly the biggest anniversary issue that Marvel has ever had. Okay? It's not that he's lazy. It's not that he can't draw anymore. He simply chose the wrong perspective. And John, I know the odds of you seeing this video are next to nothing, but I just want you to know that I thank you and your father for the legacy that you provided on these characters for all these years. And I really hope that, you know, before you retire, before you pass, before I pass, I hope to get to see you do one more long run on ASM. And I hope that they give it to you monthly instead of bi-monthly so that you can focus on perspective, vanishing point, angles, and they'll truly give you the time that you need to be the John Romita Jr. that I know and love from all of these issues of Amazing Spider-Man. I'm sorry guys, I get a little choked up about these things because this is a massive legacy issue. One that I don't know that I'll be around to see issue 2000. Or if I am, I don't know if I'll be in good enough health to know where I'm at. So, you know, it matters that we honor these creators, these legendary creators that have put in all of this time and this effort to these characters, and that we don't show them disrespect by completely removing their number, their name from the legacy that is the biggest issue that Marvel's ever had, both numerically and milestone wise. So, like I said, guys, what do you think? Do you think they should have kept the cover A as cover A, or do you think that they have done the right thing by removing Romita Jr. completely from this legacy that I believe that based on name alone, notwithstanding the artistic legacy that I can't draw as well as Romita can. So there's a lot of guys out there that I can't draw as well, but I can't draw Spider-Man as well as Romita can. So who am I to judge him and say that his work is subpar? Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Should they have kept that as a cover A, or did they do the right thing? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.